to Switzerland now, where our business editor Xolani Mbanja joins me now from the World Economic Forum in Davos. Day 3 of that meeting of world leaders, business leaders, lobby groups as well. Xolani, good afternoon to you. What's been the high points of today's action?
Good afternoon, Stephen. Well, it's been still busy here, not as busy as the past 2 days, but what we have actually noticed in terms of the interest is still on Ukraine. A lot of foreign leaders that are here want to actually have a meeting and shake hands with the Ukrainian foreign minister, Dmytro Kuleba, who is here today. And we just saw him emerging on our left-hand side from a meeting with the Australian foreign minister, his counterpart, and people actually want to hear what is happening in Ukraine and how they can actually help. But two of the highlights earlier this morning, Stephen, has been the discussion around how COVID-19 has pushed a lot of young people to resign from their jobs because they want more flexibility. And this has caused a lot of disruptions around the world when it comes to how companies are actually responding to the needs that they have in terms of skills. That has been a great discussion about companies around the world needing to pivot and actually allow a hybrid mode of working in order to keep the skills that are now leaving the workforce in droves. The other discussion, which has a South African feel to it, is on the global debt outlook. Due to COVID-19, global debt has risen to $303 trillion, and it's the most it's ever been, as these countries around the world are funding their economic recovery by borrowing. And the biggest concern that is actually that has been raised thus far regarding the debt situation in the world is that the bottom of those countries that are indebted are mostly found here on the African continent. And that's why there has been calls for the debt to be scrapped, which has not happened yet. It's just been deferred. But one of the most worrying, another issue that's most worrying when it comes to that discussion is what happens when Russia defaults on their debt around the world with multilateral institutions. That is going to have a ripple effect in that particular region, and it's going to be felt as far away as South Africa, as many of these countries will feel the pinch of Russia. If it does not keep up to its payments, it's going to be definitely a global recession. So it's really some tough discussions that are taking place as to how the world should actually respond in that particular scenario.
What are you expecting to come up today? I mean, obviously this is the dominant trend. This is the concern around Davos. You know, sometimes what Davos fears does actually come to pass. They're very worried about this.
Yes, indeed, Stephen, there's a lot that is still expected this afternoon. We are expecting an address or an interview that is going to be streamed live with the Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba, who has actually been meeting a lot of people. We want to hear, a lot of people are expecting to hear, not just from behind closed doors, which he has been doing since he arrived, but to hear how exactly the world should actually respond to the crisis there. So there's a lot of focus again today as the Ukraine is concerned, as far as Ukraine is concerned. And if you just allow my colleague to actually show you this entrance to the conference center where these leaders are actually meeting. A lot of them are there. The WEF president walked in there with a huge security detail. There is a Zimbabwean President, Emerson Mnangagwa, who is also here. Many other world leaders are here, and we are engaging with them as far as that is concerned. When it comes to the Ukraine, the situation economically is another big concern. So there is a lot of talk about situation, scenario planning rather, and how the world should actually respond. The main issue will be whether the world leaders that are gathered here from all walks of life and all around the world will actually follow through with the plans that will be put in place here when it comes to that scenario planning, Stephen.
Xolani Mbanja, thanks very much indeed. Do appreciate that live update from the World Economic Forum meeting in Davos.